Okay, welcome to our Live Life to the Plus Zoom presentation. We're really excited to be having you here tonight. My name is Mickey Daigle, and I live in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And tonight you have a very special guest by the name of Cindy Hodges, who is also in Baton Rouge at this time. So let me give you a little bit of a background about Cindy. She grew up in Alabama with a nursing degree from the University of South Alabama, and she's always had a passion for working with critical heart patients. She met her husband, Mark Hodges, and moved to Boston, actually first, Boston, Massachusetts, while Mark did his fellowship in pulmonary medicine. While in Boston, she realized that so much of disease was avoidable and wanted to change her focus to prevention. She then returned to school and got her master's in cardiac rehab, exercise physiology. In 1988, they moved to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and had 2 children, Caitlin and Austin. She was a stay-at-home mom and involved in many community events as an active volunteer with their school and their church. After her kids left for college, she obtained her certification. I guess she was feeling a little empty nesting. She obtained her certification in personal training and started up her own wellness company, Get Heart Fit. Cindy works closely with her clients, educating them how to live healthier and alter their coronary risk factors. So what I'm going to do at this point in time is I'm going to turn this whole program over to Cindy and let her just take it over.
Well, thank you, Mickey. Thanks. I love being here. You know, I love sharing my mission of healthy living. My background and the reason why I really decided to leave hospital nursing, to be quite honest, I was just really sick and tired of seeing so many sick, tired, and unhealthy people. So I decided to go back to school so I could make a difference and help with prevention or teach people how they could get healthier. The main things I want you to take away today, everyone, is that, you know, we can prevent disease. We can improve disease, and we can even eliminate so much of disease today. It looks like our approach to medicine has been more on the treatment as opposed to the prevention. And another thing I really love for people to really realize is that it is up to you to be sure that you do what you can do to help prevent your own disease. So that's being proactive and not relying on your physician. I mean, to be quite honest, physicians go to medical school to learn how to take care of sick people. It is your responsibility to be sure that you're doing what you can do to stay as healthy as you can do. And you know, you guys, there's so many different ways you can educate yourself. There's so many books. I mean, you can't watch a TV program or a news program, you know, without seeing something about health and, you know, how to prevent disease. You know, it's really funny because I use my NutriBullet quite a bit. And there's a whole section, even in this little NutriBullet book that I bought when I bought my NutriBullet. And I'm not going to everything it says. I'm just going to read one paragraph. But it goes into about the millions of people with heart disease and cancer and diabetes, and just how disease is just so prevalent now. But I do want to read one paragraph because I think it says so much. It seems that we have forgotten what we learned in grade school science class, that we are made up of cells, and that cells need only 3 simple things to survive: water, food, and air. We have a big say whether our cells are healthy or whether they're unhealthy. We make the choice every time we put something in our mouths. If we choose to eat processed, fat, and sugar-laden meals, we choose to seriously increase our risk of cancer, diabetes, and heart disease. So doesn't that kind of say everything right there? You know, I think most of you would probably agree with me that it looks like we have a lot of disease today. Are you hearing of so many more people who are suffering with all kinds of forms of heart disease and risk factors, from high cholesterol, diabetes, high blood pressure, and my goodness, cancer? You know, we're hearing so much more about the prevalence of cancer today. So anyway, I want to just go over with you. I've got something here. I love this book here, and it's called Live Life to the Plus, because it makes me really kind of think, what does that mean? Living life to the plus. What does that mean, you know, for you? We live, you know, in one of the richest countries in the world, yet we're probably one of the unhealthiest countries in the world. So think about that. what does it mean for you to be healthy? Does it mean waking up in the morning and, feeling, vibrant and healthy and wanting to go exercise and what else does it mean? For me, I don't have grandchildren or anything yet, but it's my hope that when I do have grandkids one day that I can enjoy all the things I enjoyed when my kids were kids. I want to be able to go snow skiing with them and, whitewater rafting and hiking and all those kind of good things. So as I talk tonight, I want you to think about those kind of things that, what's important to you and why you need to start putting your health at the forefront. There's a statistic here about disease, and 75% of disease is preventable. And really, it's more than that today. It's more like 80% of disease, if not 85% of disease, is totally preventable. It's easier to prevent, of course, than it is to treat disease. We're looking at 1 in 3 people with some form of cardiovascular disease. And, I started my wellness company a couple of years ago, and it was really something because, well, first of all, I have to say that I talked with a group of physicians that I could work with that, saw patients that had risk factors that I wanted to treat that had to do with heart disease. And so I went to cardiologists and lipid doctors and internists and spoke with them about my program. And they, of course, were like, well, Cindy, that sounds great. You're going to work with them, with their disease and teach them education, put them on an exercise regime, walk and talk and educate. Sadly, I have very few people that, are patients that are willing to do that. And those patients, their first question when I'm telling them that they have some form of disease is that, doc, you've got a pill for that, right? There is a pill for that. And that is so sad to me because people don't realize that those pills are only masking those symptoms. And that pill is going to lead to another pill, which is going to lead to another pill and another pill. So you really need to get to the root of the cause. What's causing you to have those issues, whether it's high blood pressure or high cholesterol or diabetes? That tree, think of it as different branches. If you get one disease branch, it's going to spread to the other branch, right? You've got to get to the root of the cause of what's causing that disease. Maybe consider repotting yourself altogether and just try to get to the root cause of your disease. I had a lot of people that would come and see me when I did start my wellness company. I did have clients who were interested in coming off of medications or avoiding going on medications, or in some cases had to lose so much weight or come off so many medications before they could receive their heart transplant. But I found out that a lot of them would say to me that, Cindy, I've got high cholesterol because my mama had it and her mama had it and everything with all those risk factors, whether it's high cholesterol or diabetes or whatever. You know what, you guys? We don't necessarily inherit those genes from down from our parents and all that. It's those lifestyles. We kind of have adapted to those same lifestyles that our parents may have had. If our parents were smokers, most likely you're a smoker. If our parents never really exercised, most likely you're probably not exercising. And if you think about it, are you still eating the same foods that maybe your parents fed to you? And that was the case with me. I grew up in Alabama, and our diet was quite different. We had our meat and our starch and our veggie and our bread and all those kind of things every single night, and we had frequent desserts and all that. So I like to think that I've changed that trend. And I have a lot of heart disease in my family. So I'd like to know that I've kind of changed that trend of heart disease in my family. So know that we can do something about our risk factors. A long time ago, we thought that, you had to go on a medication or a pill and you would be on it the rest of your life. And that's not true today. You can come off of medications and you can live a far healthier life. So we know that 1 in 3 people, live with some form of cardiovascular disease. And 1 in 3 and 1 in 2 men will develop some form of cancer. Is that scary, you guys? All the cancer that we're hearing about. Would it surprise you to know that 2/3 of cancer is totally unnecessary? 2/3 of it. If you did not smoke, if you led a healthier lifestyle with eating better food, and you got exercise, a lot of that could be prevented. Also, we talk about diabetes. We hear about the rise in diabetes. It's kind of going along with our trend of the increase in obesity. We have a lot of people who are overweight these days and obese, and the trend of diabetes is going up with obesity. And speaking of obesity, 1 in 3 people are obese today. 2 in 3 people are overweight, and it's predicted in the next 4 or 5 years that 75% of our population is going to be overweight. Now, do you think that's probably what's leading to some of our disease today? That's certainly the trend that we're going in. We have an increase in the disease today, along with the increase of our body mass. So anyway, I love what someone, he is a nutrition chair at the Harvard School of Public Health, and he simply says by changing all these, habits, the bad habits that you have, and adapting healthier habits and exercising, that you could prevent 70% of strokes, 70% of cancer, 80% of heart disease, and 90% of diabetes. Isn't that something? I mean, you guys, why would we not try to do that? So also too, as I'm talking about the prevalence and the disease with us as an adult, I like to tell people, especially because I work with a lot of people with young children, as adults and parents, we have got to set, we've got to set a good role model for our kids, because our kids are going to do what we do. So our kids need to be seeing us out, being energetic. They need to see us eating healthy food. They need to see us caring about our bodies and wanting to be healthy. And I think that's very important. We do some nutrition detective talks, and I have this little picture, and I couldn't locate it tonight, but it's a picture of a potato on a couch, and it says, couch potatoes raise tater tots. And that's true. So everyone get up off the sofa, exercise, and let your kids see you being a healthy person. But let's talk for a bit about our children, because, when I first started my nursing career as a nurse's aide, and we won't go, that was a long time ago, but you know what? It was so rare to see a child in the hospital. I mean, we didn't see sick children. And today, you guys, we have hospitals that are nothing but filled with children. We have a children's hospital being built here in Baton Rouge, a big old hospital. And I find that to be really, really sad. But this right here, this is a quote by Dr. David Katz, and he's the founding director of Yale Prevention. And he says that this is the first generation of children to have a life expectancy shorter than their parents. So a shorter life expectancy than their parents. And that's sad. But you know what else he says, which I find it more profound? He says that kids today are more harmed by their diet, what they put in their body, than they are drugs, smoking, and alcohol combined. Did you hear that? More harmed by what they put in their body, what they eat, than they do with drugs, smoking, and alcohol combined. And I know you're not going to let your child sit down and smoke a cigarette or drink a drink or do drugs. I mean, so really think about that. Think about, what are you letting your kids eat every single day? And it's our roles as parents to say no. It's like the food industry and, making so much money off of the billions of dollars in advertisements. It's luring us to go to all these different places to send our kids, and the fast food and the bad food. And, when people complain to these corporations and let them know, how can you do this? Our kids are so unhealthy now. Do you know what their response is? Their response is, you know what? You're the one taking them there. You're the parent. And that's so true. So really think about that with your kids. Kids today, I mean, really, it kind of falls in the same trade as us as an adult. They're developing. 1 in 3 children with diabetes. 1 in 3 children is obese. By the age of 12, kids start having hardening of the arteries. Did you know that plaque actually starts to build up in the arteries at the age of 2? So people don't realize that. I think a lot of people think that, my kids are young. They can pretty much eat what they want to eat right now, because they're not going to be afflicted with any kind of disease. They don't have to worry about that just yet. But I'm here to tell you that's not the case. As a matter of fact, I had to do a talk. It's probably been quite some time ago for a cancer survivor group. So I read up a lot about cancer, because I predominantly know a lot about heart. But anyway, it says that what our kids eat as children has a huge impact on their development of cancer later in life. So did you hear that? Kids, it's more what they eat as a child, whether or not they develop cancer as an adult. So keep that in mind. That's something that really kind of hit me. And the reason why I think we have to be a good role model. We have to make sure that our kids are eating the right foods, no matter what. We make sure our kids take antibiotics when they get sick. We make sure our kids brush their teeth. We need to make sure our kids get good quality food in their bodies as well. Our children, diabetes, like I said, 1 in 3 kids with diabetes today, they've had to rename. It used to be type 1 diabetes and adult onset diabetes. Well, it's not called that anymore. It's type 1 and type 2 because so many children, are afflicted with diabetes these days. We have 7-year-olds that give themselves insulin shots every day. We have 8-year-olds that it's now been okay for them to take statin medications to lower their cholesterol. We have 10-year-olds that can have gastric bypass surgery at university. Isn't there something wrong with that? I mean, that's just not right. And also more than 25% of our kids are taking prescription drugs on a regular basis. And it would surprise you to know that a lot of those kids who are afflicted with the A's, like I like to say they're afflicted with the 3 T's, the taste buds, the technology, and what's the third one? I can't even think of it now. But kids, all the A's, the autism, the ADD, the ADHD, a lot of that they think is predominantly starting within the gut and not getting good nutrition in kids from the time that they're very, very young. So I have a couple of demonstrations over here that I'm going to show you, and I usually do show them because they make an impact and people do to kind of remember this. But our question first is, how much sugar do you think that our kids are consuming, in the course of a week? In 1 week, how much sugar are our kids consuming? Would it surprise you to know that's about 5 pounds? 5 pounds of sugar. It so happens this is a 4-pound bag of sugar. When I went to go get my sugar, I didn't even know they made 4-pound bags of sugar. But as adults, we're consuming 4 pounds of sugar. So people don't realize that sugar is in so many things. It's in all processed foods. It's in, I had someone with my wellness company that couldn't understand why he had diabetes, because he didn't eat desserts. He didn't eat sweets. But when questioning him what he had for breakfast, he had toast for breakfast. He had a sandwich for lunch, So you have to be careful because sugar is in so many different foods. So I challenge you to really watch your labels, because those can tell a whole lot. Better yet, buy foods that don't have labels, buy whole foods that grow in the earth, and maybe foods that were around 100 years ago, because we know those are good, safe, good whole foods for us. For instance, this right here. Talking about sugar, this label here, you all would probably guess the first ingredient in this Fruit Loops is sugar, right? This might be a better choice. The first ingredient is whole grain oats. Now, one thing I love to let especially parents know that have small children, when we eat sugar, it suppresses our immune system. So we're not able to fight off all those different bugs and viruses and bacteria and all that kind of stuff. And it really, it hampers our immune system anywhere, depending on how much sugar you eat, and anywhere from 2 to 6 hours. You really have no immune system that's working for you. So when that child eats sugar for breakfast, they're headed off to school and they're setting themselves up for being sick. I get calls from pediatrician that deals with kids who live off of chicken tenders and French fries and not eating really good food and sugar, of course. They're eating lots of sugar. So know that suppresses the immune system. You may recall even as adults during the holidays is when a lot of people tend to get sick, colds and all those kind of things. And think about it, we're eating so much more sugar during that time. So really try to cut back on your sugar so that can keep your immune system nice and strong. Another thing that I like to tell people, one change that you can make in your life, in your health, is trying to give up soft drinks. I happen to have a Mountain Dew right here, but it's any kind of soft drink because this is empty calories. It's not giving you any kind of nutrition whatsoever. First of all, you would never, ever drink this all at one time. Certainly not. This is like 20 ounces. You would never drink this at one time, because it says on here that it's 2.5 servings. So you're going to drink a little bit today, a little bit tomorrow, and you're going to finish it up on that third day, right? Well, we all know that that's really not the case. I don't have time tonight to go in and kind of teach you about the conversion of grams and teaspoons, but this right here has 80 grams of sugar, and to get our teaspoons, we're going to divide by 4. So this Coke right here, this Mountain Dew, has 20 packs of sugar in just this one little Mountain Dew right here. So keep that in mind. I know if you were to go to the local coffee shop and you were to get behind someone in line that's, putting creamer or whatever in their coffee, and they put 20 packs of sugar in their coffee, you're probably going to say something, right? But what's the difference? What's the difference if you're drinking this right here? So if there's one thing you could really simply give up that's going to improve your health, that's the soft drinks. The other thing I have here is I don't want to say happy meal, but it's my fast food meal, because it's really literally any kind of fast food. You know, we're hearing about the fast food, and granted, I think it's great that they're trying to improve their menus and get some healthier foods. But this is my fast food burger here. But the only thing with my fast food burger, and you know, I was supposed to have gotten it with the cheese on it too, but I didn't really think I was supposed to do that back when I bought it. My burger is actually, this is going to be its 8th year. So people are really, really shocked when they see my burger. And you wonder, why does it not have mold on it? Why is it not rotted? And the best thing, or the best way I can explain this without getting too technical tonight, but just think of this as dead food. It's been processed in such a way that it's not really real food. It's dead food. As opposed to, let's look at the French fries. These are French fries, and you know, you've probably sold your car before, and you went to go clean it out, and you found French fries between the seeds, and you're like, those don't look too old at all. I don't remember when I've been to have French fries. But these have been processed in such a way, anything, all processed food, all those foods in the middle of the grocery store that's been processed, they are made and they're chemically altered, really, so that they have a long, long shelf life. So what happens if you were to go to the grocery store and maybe you bought some potatoes and one of them rolled out of your grocery bag underneath your seat? Are you going to know that eventually? Yes, you're going to begin to smell that, because that potato is going to rot. It is going to eat itself, essentially, right? That's because it's got enzymes that will eat the fruit and the vegetable up. So fruits and vegetables are filled with enzymes that help them, you know, eat the food up. When we eat dead food like this, our body has to work overtime. It has to work extra hard to try to figure out how to make the enzymes metabolize this food and metabolize the food. And of course, you know, we're storing fat while we're doing that. And while we're eating our fat, we're still storing fat. That makes sense. So just keep in mind, I have a friend who had one of these, and she left them at her back door after a talk one time. And she kind of panicked, but she then finally realized, because she realized, you know, nothing's going to get into that burger. And the only reason I have my burger in this plastic container is because the bag that it came in is disintegrating. So it's disintegrating and eating itself, but not my burger. So I'm not saying you're never going to have a Happy Meal or a fast food restaurant, you know, food meal again, but just try to cut back on that, because, you know, as it turns out, bacteria can live in petroleum, you know, and if bacteria will not attack this, why would we? So keep that in mind. And just certainly if you're a frequent person for the fast food, try to cut back on that and do a better job at getting real food in your body, and not what we call dead food in your body. So I know that was a little bit depressing. And you guys, I'm not saying that you're never going to have sugar again, because you are. I'm not saying you're never going to have a burger or you're never going to have a soft drink again, because you are, you know. But I think we can kind of set limits on ourselves. Maybe think about that 80-20 rule, or better yet, the 90-10 rule. You know, my husband and I, we eat healthy most of the time, but when we go out to dinner, we may eat the bread that they bring to our table, or we may split a dessert, or he just had a birthday and we had a slice of cake. I didn't get a whole cake, but we had a slice, you know, so just keep that in mind. Be healthy most of the time. And then the nights that you are out, it's okay to give yourself things periodically, but don't make a habit of it on a daily basis. So I hope that kind of resonates with all of you. So we've talked about the bad stuff and the things that we probably need to try to eliminate or cut back in. What can we do? Let's think about the positive right now. What can we do to live healthier? How can we live that life to the plus? Well, the first thing we're going to do is try to get better food in our body, right? We're going to try to consume more whole foods and less processed foods. We're going to shop the perimeter of the grocery store, and we're going to eat those foods that have the natural enzymes. We're going to eat those foods that don't have labels, right? We're going to also try to stay away from, of course, we know that the fried foods we need to stay away from. We're going to try to stay away from all those fatty meats. You know, I like to think of the legs. You know, the cows and the pigs have 4 legs. They have the most fat. The chickens have 2 legs. They have less fat. Fish have no legs, you know, so they even have less fat. So just think about, ways you can change up your diet and have more whole foods in your diet. Managing stress. Stress is a big deal. I worked with clients who were CEOs of, corporations, and, they would come to me under a great deal of stress. And it's very important that you manage your stress. Getting adequate sleep. We need 8 to 9 hours of sleep every single night. We have trillions of cells in our body, and they get attacked many, many times during the day. This, just the process of living, really, breathing and exercising and metabolizing food and eating, our cells get sparks within them. And we need rest at night for those cells to recover. And again, when I studied up on cancer, I learned that cancer cells grow 3 to 4 times faster in those who are sleep deprived. So that's a big reason to make, sleep a priority, because that's really, really important. Drinking water, trying to substitute all those things that you're drinking that are empty calories and substitute that with water, flavored if you need to make it more drinkable, I guess. And practicing prevention. And like I said earlier, I think the best approach to that is educating yourself and what you can do to be healthier. As far as one thing I'd like to point out too, a lot of people with exercise, they think that, they can pretty much eat what they want to eat. And that cannot be further than the truth, you guys, because athletes need to have even better nutrition than the rest of us, and it doesn't. I like to use the analogy of a bicycle. A bicycle has 2 wheels, and for that bicycle to function properly, you've got to have both those wheels functioning, right? Think of one wheel as your diet, what you're eating on a daily basis, and that other wheel is the wheel, of exercise. You have to have both of those. You've got to exercise most days of the week if you can, and you've got to practice good nutrition. So we talk about good nutrition and how important it is. I'm not sure how many of you know exactly how many servings of fruits and vegetables we need to put in our body every single day. And I know this is very confusing because we've had so many different mixed things over the years, and most people still remember, and I remember it wasn't too long ago that 5 a day came out. We're all supposed to eat 5 a day. But that has really changed right now, you guys. And I like to explain to people, well, first of all, I like them to know that we need to get about 9 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables in our body every single day without fail. Not just a few times a week, but every single day. Remember those cells I was talking to you about? We have to feed those cells every day, not 3 days a week. It's got to be a daily thing. So just getting the fruits and vegetables in your body every single day. And, you may remember this that we came out with not too long ago, and it was like our plate, half of our plate should be filled with fruits and veggies. I love the fact that I found a product that I can I can now work my vegetables into my breakfast, because I can make a nice big smoothie with lots of protein in it and nice powders in it and fruits and veggies. And I can throw a big handful or two of veggies in my smoothie every single morning. And that's giving me my vegetables first thing in the morning. But yes, we need 7 to 13 a day. And remember what I said about the athletes. Athletes need more like 16 to 18 servings a day. You guys, that's hard to do. And the reason why we need so many more, people ask me, why do we, why was it 5 a day, not too long ago, and now we're having to consume so many more? And I'd like to tell you these 3 reasons. Number one, our fruits and vegetables are being sent over here into our big grocery stores and shipped over from wherever, Mexico or Arizona or California. And you guys, they're picked when they're green. Do you think that when they're picked green that we have the nutritional quality that we need? People don't realize the last 10 days on the vine is when you get 90% of the nutrition. Did you hear that? The last 10 days on that vine. If they picked it the last 10 days on the vine over there in Mexico or on the other side of the United States, it will be rotted by the time it gets to us. So I encourage you to try to buy local from your local farmers market. Another reason we need more is because, unfortunately in North America, we allow a lot of pesticides, herbicides, and those kind of poisons essentially leach a lot of nutrition out of our fruits and vegetables. But you know what the third reason is why we need so many more? Is to offset all the bad stuff we're eating. Because we're eating so much processed food and bad foods that's not healthy for us, that has no nutritional value. So we have to have more and more fruits and vegetables to offset that. Well, I'm not sure about you, but I find that very difficult to do. And why? Why is fruits and vegetables so important anyway? What's the big deal with fruits and vegetables? Well, remember how I told you our cells, they get those attacks every single day. You know, it's been oxidative stress. A lot of people don't understand what oxidative stress is, but I like to use the analogy of my fireplace over there. When wood burns, it sparks, right? Oxidation and sparks. But thankfully, I've got that screen that's going to protect my rug. In our body, all that oxidation and those hits of free radicals, the process of just living, we have sparks in our body. And what do you think our protection, our fire screen is inside of our body? Our antioxidants for us is only found in fruits and vegetables and berries. You guys, did y'all hear that? The only way you can offset the bad stuff going on in your body is with good nutrition. So I think Mickey did mention that I started a wellness company several years ago, and I am a perfectionist, and I was going to prove to these physicians that I could get these patients off of their medication or prevent them from going on medications or get them ready for their heart transplant. But I found out right away when I did food journals and all that, there was no way I was going to do that, you know. So I was at a loss, and shame on me. I went through nursing school, and I never realized about supplementation. I figured if it was sold in the grocery stores that it had to be something that had research and it was a good thing, right? So I found out so much when I started my company, but I will have to be honest with you, I was at a loss because I'm like, okay, I can't recommend all of these products on the shelf that are essentially supplements that do not have any research whatsoever. You know, it does not get into the bloodstream. It goes to the septic tank and it does nothing for you. It's not absorbed in your body. So it's truly just a waste of money. And then thankfully I had someone tell me about a product that was called Juice Plus. And I'm so grateful that I found Juice Plus because it has been the catalyst that has helped not only myself and all of my family, tons of friends, but it's certainly helped define my wellness company. And I have to say, I really found a profound effect of whole food nutrition on your body. It was a shock to me. And I just want to shout it to the rooftop because I was able to see what good nutrition does for the inside of your body if you put it there every single day. So Juice Plus, essentially, what is it? Well, for one thing, I've got some right here. It is not a supplement because, you know, you guys, doctors are hearing now not to recommend supplements to their patients because there's been some studies done, big studies done, where the people who were taking supplements, over-the-counter vitamins, whether it was Centrum or whatever, had more disease and sooner deaths than those who were taking nothing at all. So there's been a lot of research, and essentially doctors are being told now, enough is enough. You know, it was in the Annals of Internal Medicine back about 1.5 years ago, and it said, you know, quit recommending over-the-counter supplementation. So I want to tell you what Juice Plus is. Juice Plus is not a supplement. Juice Plus actually has a nutrition label. It's nutrition facts and not supplements because Juice Plus is actually food. It is concentrated fruits, veggies, and berries in a capsule form. And what's really cool is the company, the Juice Plus company, actually hires and has their own growers, and they grow our crops and they pick them, guess what, at the peak of ripeness. So we're getting the good nutrition density. And then it's of course juiced, and it's reduced down to a powder at a very low proprietary temperature that it doesn't destroy any of the nutrition in the product. A lot of people don't realize, and you may notice here, let me show you this picture. Do you notice this right here? Notice all the different colors. There's a lot of different colors, right? There's a lot of different fruits, vegetables. I mean, all kinds of things from, you know, spinach, pomegranate, parsley, cabbage, kale, all kinds of great things that we really need in our bodies. And we need an array of color. We need lots and lots of different colors because different colors have different organ addresses in our body. Did you know that? I mean, we as females, women, we need lots of cruciferous vegetables to prevent breast cancer. Men need lots of, you know, all the red, the tomatoes to prevent prostate cancer. So we need an array of different kinds of fruits and vegetables. So that's why I love Juice Plus. That is going to give you the nutrition that you absolutely need to get in your body. And also, too, the other thing that I really love about Juice Plus, because of my science background, because of my husband being a physician, is that it has the research to back it up. And that was very important because that was kind of our rule here at the house, I did not want to recommend anything with, but did not have the research behind it. So I'm really happy about that. We just published our 37th study, and the research comes from a lot of different reputable places. I mean, Brigham and Young, Georgetown, Vanderbilt, Wake Forest, institutions outside of North America, and Germany and England and Austria. We just did one at MD Anderson not too long ago. That was very impressive. So I love the fact that we have years and years of research, and research is difficult. My husband worked with research for a while, and it takes many, many years to do one study. So I'm glad, and I feel very safe that Juice Plus is the #1 nutraceutical product in the world, and absolutely the #1 research product. So I feel very comfortable taking it myself. It has truly changed my health picture and my family's health picture, and I'm very comfortable recommending it. And personally, I think everyone needs to be on it, but that's my bias. So, what does the research say? I'm getting ready to finish up here, but the research says, and it proves that it's absorbed in the body, because that's important, right? Why are we spending money on something and taking it if it doesn't get into the bloodstream to do good things? So we have plenty, I think there's like 10 studies, or if not more, on just the bioavailability of Juice Plus. It reduces oxidative stress. Remember, we've already talked about oxidative stress and what that does to our cells. Juice Plus reduces that. It reduces the key markers of systemic inflammation. You're hearing about inflammation. Inflammation is the root cause of all diseases today. So we certainly want to attack the inflammation, right? It supports a healthy immune system. We've already kind of spoken about that today. I love the fact that I've been on Juice Plus for 7 years and I haven't had a cold in 7 years or a sore throat. I think that's really, really cool. My husband has had a drastic decrease in his sinus infections. So I love the fact that I'm walking around with a strong immune system, so I'm fighting off anything that I may come in contact with. It helps protect DNA. We hear a lot, our DNA is not our destiny, you guys. We do not have to live with disease of those before us. So it does help with the protection of DNA. It helps to click off those switches and put better nutrition in your body and get rid of some of those diseases that run in your family. Supports cardiovascular wellness. I wish I had time to talk about that because it's my favorite study, being a heart nurse, that what's really cool is you can put nutrition in your body and it works at the cellular level. It keeps your vessels open, so you're getting blood really efficiently to your brain so you don't have a stroke, or to your heart so you don't have a heart attack. I mean, how cool is that to think that nutrition plays that kind of role on the vessels in your body? So I think that's just really, really cool. So that excites me. And of course, healthy skin and healthy gums and all that kind of stuff. One quote I want to give you right here, because it's a physician that I really respect. He's out of Atlanta and he is an infectious disease doctor. But I love what he has to say. And he's a big advocate with Juice Plus. And he actually says, and he found it because he realized when he was taking care of AIDS, there were so many people that were doing far better as AIDS patients, but those were the ones that consumed a really a high whole food nutrition diet. But anyway, he says, after looking at all the clinical research done on Juice Plus, I recognize that there is nothing else available any place in the world with or without a prescription that is able to do all these things in the human body. Now, just a few more things I want to sum up with, and I'm going to let you go for tonight. I love the fact that our company is not about trying to get you to take Juice Plus. Our company is about educating you. And that's why I have a passion. That's why I love what I do. I love to educate people. If I touch one person tonight, then that makes me very, very happy. We love to, of course, we do events and all that kind of stuff. But we have a program that we have going on right now that I really do love, and it's called our Shred 10 program. It's literally asking people for 10 days to shred bad habits. It's not shredding 10 pounds in 10 days or anything like that, but just shredding bad habits for 10 days. Seeing what's going to happen. And what really happens with everyone is that the first few days may not be real nice because they're giving up the added sugar. They may be giving up some caffeine and alcohol. But what happens is by the time you get to that end of that 10 days, people are feeling like totally different people. So I love that. And when you change your diet up and you get rid of those really nasty habits, good things happen in your body. Weight naturally falls off and you lose weight the healthy way. I don't believe in diets. They don't work. They're only temporarily. But if you lose weight in a healthy way, you will never have to worry about your weight again. So I love the fact that we have this program to offer. And if you have questions about that, you can talk to whoever invited you tonight. What it also uses kind of gets into another product that we have, which is our complete shakes. And I kind of mentioned that to you. This is our macronutrition. Fruits, veggies, and berries is our micronutrition. It's our vitamins and our minerals. This is our carbohydrates and our proteins and our fat. And as a personal trainer, I love to let people know that, whey is really bad for you. And there are a lot of trainers out there that really advocate whey protein. And we know, and as a company, we are at the forefront of learning a lot of educational things. And whey is very inflammatory, you guys. And remember, we are trying to get rid of inflammation. So do not put whey protein in your body. I love our protein because it's a complete protein. Another thing I really love about it, our protein is totally absorbable, all of it, unlike whey protein. But also, too, we very little fat whatsoever, but fiber, 8 grams of fiber. As a country, we're not getting enough fiber in our body every single day. So I love that we've got the fiber in there, too. And of course, we do have, some bars that kind of goes along with that are healthy bars if you're someone who loves to, consume bars. The only other thing that we've come out with, and we're just releasing this at a slower rate right now. We're starting out, but it's going to really launch in October. It can be found right now if you know the right person. But anyway, this is our omega blend, and it's we all hear how heart healthy your omega 3s are. And I used to put ground up seeds and stuff and flax seeds in my complete drink. And now all I have to do is pop these pretty little bright orange pills. So capsules. So this is a great way to get your omega-3s in your diet as well. So I believe that's all I have to say tonight. And I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope that hopefully you've gotten some insight. Maybe you can take something away and maybe start with one simple change. Maybe it's simply giving up soft drinks or cutting back on your soft drinks. Maybe, it's making yourself get out and do some exercise every day. But it's my hope that you will make it your mission to live a healthier life. And I hope you took something away. Thanks for being on, you guys.
Thank you so much, Cindy. That was awesome. You made it sound so simple. You said making the one simple change. Yeah, that's right. But just listening to you, I just sat back and this is what I'm thinking. It's like it's a no-brainer. Just take care of yourself. Just keep it simple. And you've given us some great ideas and really make you think, the hamburger, the 4 pounds of sugar. Wow. I just love all those visuals because sometimes you just need a little slap in the face to make you wake up and see what's going on. So again, thank you for taking your night away from that wonderful Dr. Mark Hodges and spending the night with us. And everyone in this wonderful that you could just sit back at home, relax, and learn so much. So thank you, Cindy, for being here. And thank everyone else for joining us. Good night.